You got this one?
Yes, yep. All
Got
good.
it. So this is in your notes on page 5. This little man. So the chakra and endocrine connection is a very, very important connection, where sometimes nurses and professionals in my classes didn't really know what it was, and I was quite astonished. This is one of the most important parts in our body because it secretes. Now it excretes, not secretes, it excretes. That means it spurts into the body hormones, which are very important, and it is for a long time working after we have been in positions where we either wanted to be in or not being in. So when we are talking here about changes in our body, there's where it takes very quickly place. So let's go through the base chakra. I go into every chakra later more deeply, but I want that you have this little handout, the page 5 next to you, that you can sort of see. It relates, the base chakra relates on the color red. So we have, well, chakras 2 days. I'm teaching about that. And when I'm talking here about this system, there is so much where we cannot go in, but I have written a book, as you know, Science of Life. Can you see that? So there is for every, I talked about that later, I will talk about it later. There is for every chakra a whole page and what it does and the colors and so. For you to remember, the base chakra is the center of energy and survival. And it corresponds to the adrenals. And we all have heard about adrenals. And when we are in, they are sitting actually behind the kidneys. But we are talking here about energy and survival. So when we are in panic mode, there is where the fight and flight system sets in. And they are the adrenals. They're bringing then a hormone out, which is going through the bloodstream and making our body either beautiful, like joy, or when we are stressed, and remember 95% is stress related, what is illness concerned, then we are taking ill because we are in a stress relationship, which we are not meant to be all the time in. The fight and flight is only meant to be when we are needing to either fight back and not really fighting, but standing in our boundaries, or we are fleeing. We just say, no, this man is too big for me, you know. So it resonates on the color red. And we go into that as well. So everything what you can enhance, if you want to enhance this chakra, and you have there a limit in, or a deficit in, then you can wear some red clothing, you can eat red food, you need probably to have something in your surrounding, like you can decorate your lounge and have red cushions in there. So remember, and everything has a frequency, and so has sound. And we have heard about solfeggio frequencies. They resonating on certain frequencies, and there is sometimes either pain or joy or heart chakra and things like that. So remember, the colors are all relevant for frequency. The sacral chakra is the color orange. It's like the orange, beautiful color, nice and beautiful. there is vitality and creativity, and we call it, here's a cosmic fire.
Enough.
So we are actually creating our own life here with a beautiful cosmic fire, but it also, in a physical sense, it relates on the testes and the ovaries. So we come later on to this little man again. Whatever happens in this chakra here, and it is not welcome and it's not beneficial for you, will work itself out here in the lower abdomen, and have there some illnesses which will present themselves. Then we have the solar plexus, and the solar plexus resonates on yellow, and this is the intellect and willpower. So when we're talking here about the solar plexus, here is my sun of my body.
It's enough.
The sun of my body, and this is where my empowerment sits. Remember the word empowerment, it's not power, and we go into that. It's an empowerment which I have. And Nelson Mandela said, let your light shine so others can let the light shine too. This is empowerment. Overpowering comes here as well in, and we learn that later. This solar plexus, of course, you can see here's all the pancreas involved. Here's also the gallbladder, and there is a lot of things going on in our gut, as you can see. And when we feel sick in our gut, you better listen. When this gut feeling is wonderful, there is where you follow. And this is, I call, the feeling brain. This is not our brain, which is directing or wants to rattle on. Here is where we get really information. And I swear, guys, I have been listening to that since I was probably 14 years of age. When my father died, I have listened to that, and I never failed that when I have listened to that. Even I thought I'm crazy. So, but I also make this joke, when you have the word crazy on your forehead, you can do anything, you know. So here is great stuff going on. The willpower, there is where we have our own will involved, and we can go on with life. Then we have the heart chakra resonating on green or pink. I always say it is like a beautiful rosebud which wants to open up, and there are some green petals around. That's how I see the heart chakra. It's love and compassion sitting in here. So we have here the gland, the thymus. There is where our Tesla pendant on, our personal pendant. So this thymus gland knows exactly if my world is in order or not. And we know that. Our plate sometimes switches around when we have an overdrive, or we are feeling overwhelmed. We need the thymus is our immune system navigator. So we have the best defense system in our body, which is our immune system. And I don't want to go into vaccination stuff. We need to activate and maintain our immune system, which is right there where love for ourselves sits, compassion for our fellow travelers. So this is in the moment very much important, because our earth is resonating on this vibration. So we having reached from power, we go on to heart centered energy. And this is why I feel so driven to do the seminars, that people actually understand how important it is to love ourselves. I have done all the tours around the world and have taken all the people with me to like Egypt, Mexico, like Maya land, to Peru, Easter Island, and what is it, Angkor Wat, Myanmar, and Cambodia. So those people have always taught, especially the Mayans, you call this not selfish, you call it lavish. And special here, we have been always sort of heard our parents or whatever people saying, don't be selfish. This is so ingrained in our human existence. And this is the most outworn pattern what we actually can toss straight off. And I want you to write that down, lavish instead of selfish. A very, very important change, because if we not love ourselves, we cannot love anybody. If I'm not looking after myself, I cannot look after other people. As a health provider, I need to walk my talk. So I can actually give examples and people see how it works. So please remember, lavish, please. So the thymus is our immune system navigator, and she knows exactly when we are not happy. And there is where we are coming into strife. Here is a lot, and I go into that later, a lot sits here where forgiveness comes in. And I will go really into that, because there's a lot of resentment in people and sadness, which does not work any longer. We have the third eye, which is a beautiful, like a blue, but a real steel blue. I always explain it like the sun shines into an ocean, which is really blue, wonderful. Here is this is the center of expression and communication. So we have the thyroid sitting here. And so we know when we are not able to express our own personality, and I'm talking here the personality. The soul has given us information. The personality wants now to express. There is where most problems are starting, which we are called miscommunication or non-communication. And there is where I get the people in relationship counseling. They are not communicating. They are afraid, and the fear sits in the solar plexus, because they are sort of making themselves victims. So here we need to speak. And this is a center. If we are not speaking our truth, it will shut the whole center actually off color, and we are not gaining anything. So the throat chakra, remember, very important. So are the other ones, but I really do emphasis on here and on the solar plexus. We go further up, there is the third eye. It's indigo, and it's the center of intuition and inspiration. So we have here the pituitary gland, or some say the pineal gland. It does not matter. This whole center here is the Ark of the Covenant, and this is a very important center where all the information from all that is comes in. So when we go to the crown chakra, it's a purple color. There is total union with all that is, because we are all connected. The whole universe is connected. If I heard myself, I heard other people as well, and the other way around too. So there is where we come in now into the love vibration. So crown, purple, total awareness. And this is, of course, here the pineal and the pituitary gland. When I did my diploma in aromatherapy, we only worked with those two glands because the pituitary gland, she brings in, it's a very small gland, but you can regulate the whole body through this gland with essential oils. And it is just fantastic what happens. So I was always intrigued how smells and essential oils can actually bring variations of thought forms and changing people's old patterns and things like that. And it was fantastic. And I mean, I've taught aromatherapy in hospitals for a long time, but when we grow out of those things now, and I teach more now the ascension process. So we are a wonderful system. And so I take this picture away and go one further and tell me, do you see the introduction to energy anatomy?
No.
No? Okay, then we have to go the different way again. Okay. Share. Can you see?
Yes.
Lovely. It works. Wonderful. Thank you for the feedback. So we have here the introduction of energy anatomy and the Kundalini chakras. We have many, it's not only the Kundalini chakra, this is what I mean here, the chakra system consisting of 7. We have much more. Every chakra for the mental body, for the emotional body, for the spirit body, which is just amazing. But those chakras we're going in today, you see they open up to the front and the back. The crown chakra only gets the information in from the top. And we get the information, or we give information as well to the earth chakra, only opening to the bottom. We have beautiful symbols for the chakras, and it goes like a serpent. And so we don't put any emphasis on that today. They are energy vortices to keep the physical body alive via this endocrine glandular system. So you see how important that glandular system is, because it is not the physical body which leads our personality. It is everything what comes from outside, what we talked, the auric system. Hand and feet chakra visible?
Yes, that worked.
Oh, fantastic. God is with us. So we have a lot of chakras here in our hands where I just talked. We have the mental body, we have the emotional body, we have the spiritual body, but I just only want you to know we have chakras in the hands where we work when we heal. We have chakras in the feet, which connects us to Mother Earth. So when I later tell you some grounding methods, when you are going to the beach and you walk barefoot on the sand, or you go even in the salt water of the ocean, you're clearing the entire energy body. Fantastic. So just remember that. And then we have, of course, now the chakras where we go now a little bit deeper in. Do we see chakra number 1?
Yes.
Ah,
Yeah.
thank you.
You're on a roll.
Getting better every moment, no? So chakra 1, all is one. So when we come onto this earth, we, as a baby, we come in here, and of course we have no idea what we're doing. And so the first chakra, which is actually established in itself, would be the chakra number 1. And it is funny, I only have taught this all the time, but some children actually have verified that when we come in as a baby, we only have this etheric body around us, not all the chakras, the auric system. It's amazing. So when we talk about chakra 1, is being in our own support system. So we need to be grounded. That is our power. The groundedness, the ability to stand up to support ourselves. So we come in here with the intention to be a full human being, which evolves later through the chakra system from the bottom to the top up to the crown chakra. Do we understand that? So the first thing is our strengths. We have the family identity. The baby looks in mom's eyes and is happy. When they are not happy, they let you know. And there will be a lot of noises, because that's the only thing they can actually express themselves. And here is also the strength would be the binding and loyalty. I'm going here with a system what Caroline Mice has presented. And this is our spiritual learnings, what I'm presenting here. That's where I want to go in this seminar. Like if we want to do the chakra deeper, I would recommend you buy the Science of Life, and we talk about that later, that you can inform yourself first that that is a 2-day course. It is very intensive. I want only here the emphasis, we have to exercise the chakras. And so I bring a little background on why we are coming in with that first chakra, because we need to learn. We come here with the intention to experience polarity. And polarity means good, bad, male, female, day and night, and you name it. All polarities, because we have chosen this on Earth. Earth is a planet of polarity, and we wanted to have this experience to learn to exercise our free will. Now, how is that? So we complain, oh, this one went wrong and this one did wrong to me. Well, we see later we have it all in our hands, and we actually have chosen that. And we would say, why the heck did we choose that? Huh? Well, I'm proud that we did. The shadow side here would be excluding others. Here comes actually justice in, the judgment, and also the illusion of superiority. So I get you further, you're grown up now, you're not a baby anymore. You have actually now managed to be a person like we all now are behind the scenes here. And so if we have actually taken damage in very early years in this chakra, that the safety has not been given to us, and the security, we will be actually suffer when we are sort of in our age. And there is where I go into here, the issues, physical family. Now they can give us great grief. And there is actually where we later say, wow, my sister has been my biggest teacher. She has triggered so many emotions in me that I needed to change. Can you see that? So we go into those things. It is just a learning process. So when we see the chakra 1, there are lessons related to the material world. It's a tribal group safety. You want to belong, but it's also superiority and inferiority. So there is lots of learning to do with this basic chakra or base chakra, because there is where we all start to get our feet on the ground and feel somehow safe. And I might say here at this point, when we are looking here at tribal and group consciousness, there's also where people hang out in big groups. Don't want to name groups because I am not against or for anything. I am a teacher and I convey my lessons and or my knowledge, and then everybody can go ahead and take away what they like. But people who are insecure, they hang out in big groups to feel secure. They cannot stand up by themselves. So you may look at your own tribal stuff there. I'm a loner. I don't hang out with big groups at all. And so there is where you gain your strength in yourself, because nobody actually can tell you what is right and wrong. And we have said that before. But there is where later the victimhood comes in. And we come to that when we come to the solar plexus. So did we get this all under our belt? We can later review those things. Lessons related to the material world, tribal group consciousness. They don't let other people in. It's also the safety you feel. If you are not safe on this world here, you cannot evolve into the higher chakra systems. Belonging, it's important for humanity, but not being a sort of a victim and always attaching to other people. So, but being inferior to other people is absolutely a no-no. We need to stand in our own power. Do we see chakra 2?
Can you go back one? It's chakra 3. Thank you.
Chakra 2, thank you. Yeah. So chakra 2, honor one another. So I go back to the baby thing again, and we are now, say, 14 years of age. And there comes then suddenly, probably now earlier, we realize, oh, there's other, when I'm a female, there's male around as well, or male, female. So we actually look at another personality as well, which would probably give us the feeling of bonding or completeness. And so the power here is the creativity, the ability to create and take a risk. So we are going now out and exploring a field which is not ourself any longer. So we are going into in the polarity where we are searching for something which brings us further. So the strength in this chakra would be the survival instinct. This is the fight and flight response, the resilience and the perseverance, and also sexuality and sensuality. Now, there is a lot of things here involved, problems arising when there is already in the base chakra the intention to overpower another person. That will be here bringing this content in here, and there's where you would feel, I feel not safe here. You know, I cannot create because I want to do my own thing here. There is the shadow side would be the disempowerment or using others for your own advantage. So in actual fact, the sacral chakra, this chakra too, is there to bring my own creativity into existence. So that means also where sexuality is involved. I cannot overpower another person in sensuality and sexuality. There is where the most misuse of love is involved, where people using the other person for their sexual gratification. And so there is also, like we said, the fight and flight, that is also in the base chakra involved. Great fear is the survival instinct here. But the issues involved would be you blame another person, or you feel guilty because you haven't done what that other person wants. There sits power and control, money and sex. Doesn't that sound like Hollywood? Huh? Money and sex. Power and control sounds very much what we have been under, just with all the stuff which is going on with our with COVID. And I don't go down the rabbit hole, but it's all about power and control. He is also involved ethic and honor relationships. Now, when I see people who are long-term married and they respecting each other, this is honor in relationships. This is concerned with ethics. There is where honor of the other person comes in, and that is the headline of the chakra, honor one another. So we are looking here at the polarity, and we honor this person's opinion, whatever it might be, but we don't need to tune into it. We just do our own thing. So we are standing here as independent people, or we learn to be independent so that nobody leans on us. And there is where sometimes come the dependency in relationships in as well. So when I see here the lessons is related to sexuality, work, and physical desires. Need a sip of coffee. So when I see here for work, there is so much power and control going on as well, which I can actually here stop and create my own reality. And there's where we later can discuss a little bit more, because then it gets interesting. But also physical desires, when we are in partnerships, one desires to do this one and the other person this one. So we can be the independent, but we can also be as one, honor the other person. So this is a very interesting chakra, and there's a big lesson to learn here. Chakra 3, are we there?
Yes.
Lovely. So this is honor oneself. So we're coming here to the solar plexus. We are now grown up. We are of 14 years. We're probably 21 now. And this is not that you stick to those times. It's only an example here. You're 21, you're coming of age. And now you think, well, I have really secured everything. I feel good. I feel right in my world. I have created already something which I really like, whatever that might be. And now I would like to bring this in and bring also more ambitions in here. There is where my free will comes in. So the power is a power center here. The solar plexus very much is the personal power is involved here. So I compare this. This is our sun in our personal system. The sun needs to shine. It needs to empower. You have self-respect for yourself, and you go on now with your strengths. You establish a self-esteem. You follow your ambition. You are courageous in actually exercising your choices, which you have already decided in chakra 2. There comes generosity in, and generosity with other people. They have different agendas, but you are your own director of your own movie. I don't want anybody directing my movie. I would be not good with that. So as he comes in here, the instinct, where does it sit? In the gut. Never underestimate your gut, never ever. Intuition comes in here. This is our feeling brain. The shadow side would be application power of choice out of need for approval. So with other words, oh no, I cannot go ahead with that. But if I do that, those so-and-so would actually like me better. This is totally out of order, because this is giving your power away, which will make you sick later into your gut. And there is lots of illnesses taking place in the area of stomach, liver. Liver is anger. Anger is actually bringing out something, oh, I cannot do. If I only would, I would be better. So there is actually the need for approval or narcissistic behavior, which is so many times exercised nowadays. They are only serving self and not honor the other person. But here you want to honor yourself, and you don't want a narcissist telling you what to do. I have people in narcissistic relationships. They had to escape in a real hidden agenda to get out of this relationship. It is very real, very real. The issue is here, trust and fear. Trust is, I will be guided. And we know the personality does not guide, it does the spirit guides. The fear comes in here when you are not courageous, when you don't follow your instincts. And then intimidation comes in when somebody puts you down and is saying, oh, you're just a loser. So don't listen, be an observer. And don't take it personal. Those people put their perception onto you. Let it go like water over a duck. You've got the gut feeling here. You want to work on self-confidence and self-respect. But you want, on the other hand, to be responsible for making your decisions. So this is a very important part here. The responsibility comes in here. So you can do whatever you like. That is willpower. This is free will. You can overpower another person. It will not do you good, but you can. The free will is us. But if you take responsible choices for your decision you made, you will later have a good outcome. If this outcome is not beneficial for you, you know that you have made a decision where you came to a dead end, and you follow your instinct, which says, get out of this one-way road. Here comes also the sensitivity to criticism. Well, I actually embrace criticism. Then I can either learn something new from it, or I say, it's not concerning me at all. So I never would react, and we come to react instead of acting. I never would react to somebody who's, I try not to react to somebody who wants to tell me something. If I have self-confidence and know who I am and what I want and not overruling other people, I don't need to react on criticism. So you see here lessons related to the ego, the personality. Can you remember? The ego dwells in the personality and the self-esteem. We are working here totally with empowerment. Chakra 4?
Yes.
Lovely. So chakra 4 is love is divine power. We're coming now to a part where we are in conjunction or in resonance with the earth. Can you see the first 3 chakras? They were all our, they call it animal instincts. So they are basic survival chakras. First, we have the groundedness, we have then the creation, what I want to do, and then the empowerment that I do. Now we're coming to a point where we're at the heart. So here, I need to acknowledge that through the heart, there comes self for others and for myself, but mostly first for self. And there is where I tune in to divine power and not to my own power. So I've outgrown my solar plexus with power. I come now into love. I create with love. And when you create with love, nothing can go actually wrong because you're connected to the divine. So the strength here is forgiveness. First of all, love for self and others, the compassion for others. You need to see others as their equal. They want to do their thing. They have a movie to run as well. I'm busy with my movie. So I come here in my strengths. I forgive whatever another person has done to me in that time where I could not understand that they hurt me. Here sits a lot of very, very dark stuff here, but the strength is dedication, inspiration. I have hope and trust and the ability to heal. If you haven't got that, you will not heal. If you are coming into the shadow side here, the jealousy, oh, this person has more than I have and I want whatever, the anger comes in. You know, the universe is never treating me right. Resentment comes in when people have done, or you think they have done not right to you, and you resent them because you have taken their baggage on. And the inability to forgive, that makes you not heal. I have a whole page how you do forgiveness, because forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting. Forgiveness is actually setting you free. And with being free, you can do your own creation without feeling criticism and all the stuff what we had before. The issues here are love and hate, resentment and bitterness. There are so many people still bitter. Maybe they have left or somebody left them 20 years ago and they're still bitter because they are sitting alone or so. And this only examples. I don't know you people, but there is so much stuff which goes on here in the heart. Grief and anger. Grief is a very deep subject where I'm teaching a class, you know, there's life after grief, because grief is only feeling sorry for yourself, and grief needs to be felt, of course, but you cannot go into grief and stay in there because then you have the inability to move forward, and you bind the other person, or if it's not a person, you hang on to attachments which are not there anymore. It's only the past. You let it go. I told you that story. I was lucky, I was blessed that I could spend 2 years with my David still until he was dying, and we could go through all the issues. We always taught each other, and we respected each other. So when he died, of course, there was still, I thought I was prepared. No, you're never prepared. And you break down then. But I was taking myself out, and the next day I was standing in a class of 23 people and could explain it. So I moved on, but grief comes back sometimes, and you have to go into it and get out of it again. It is an experience, and there comes denial periods, and there is stages here where we go through, but you've got to get out of there, because otherwise you cannot move on in life. That means then loneliness. But there's lots of self-centeredness as well, when you feel, oh, I am such a lonely person, or I am such neglected and nobody loves me, and things like that. Forgiveness and compassion brings you out, and hope and trust that something better will come up will bring you further. There is no doubt, but that is something which you cannot actually put in words. You've got to have it. So the lessons related to unconditional love is here: forgiveness and compassion. It's a great lessons to learn here, but mostly people fall in big depressions here, and they cannot come out of it, and then they go to the doctors, fix me. They get the medications which keeps them more suppressed. And I had clients coming, they felt the soul urge still through those medications, and we were able to unleash this spirit, and we could bring the past into action again. So beware of this grief and feeling depressed. You need to move on. Chakra 5, are we there?
Yes.
Lovely. There is surrender, personal will to divine will. Now that sounds like a big mouthful, but it is the most important part here, because can you see we are now going up the ladder? We are secured in base chakra. We have created in chakra 2, sacral chakra. We felt really good and made our decisions in chakra 3, solar plexus. Heart chakra, we have really felt, yes, this is so lovely. I have joy in my heart when I do this. Now I come to chakra 5. And so the divine says now you can drop all your physical, you can drop your physical desires if you wish to move forward and go with divine will, and you will go places. So here comes the choice in. And there we have to make a decision. Yes, I will take it a notch higher, and I will go actually with what my soul has decided. There is where we are starting actually to move in that direction, where we suddenly feel in the heart. We have heard this, the gut feeling has told us already. The heart made it really feeling, yes, I've got joy when I think about that. And then we move on and we make that decision, and the strength is faith here. Self-knowledge, personal authority, and the ability to keep your word, of course, that has to do with the physical stuff, that you are not lying. But let's have a look at lying. If you are actually not obeying to the urge of your soul, then you are not keeping this word to your soul, and you are lying to your own system. Just remember that when we come down to the bottom. The shadow side is obsessive need to control relationships and events. So when I'm talking here about control, we all love to control things which we think, you know, we need this, like my example here, I need this meeting here organized. So we start controlling when, what, whatever. And so I had to do a lot of work, of course, with buying this channel here, what's called Zoom for teaching longer, and all that stuff. So then you start, oh, who is coming in here? Wow, wonderful. And then you see, oh, they have not done their job. And you start actually controlling. No, there's where you have to step aside now, or I had to step aside. I had to learn this for a long time now. And I step aside and I said, can you please take over up there, upstairs here, take over. And I step aside and suddenly I had 14 people in. Can you see that? It's just amazing. So obsessive need to control relationships and events. Remember, we have been teaching, David and I, we have been teaching for 20 years professionals and brought them to a certificate 4 and diploma in Bowen therapy. And then I went overseas and taught my own courses as well. So there needs to go control in. But if that would have been not what my soul was designed to do, it would have gotten pear-shaped. You understand that now? This is where we have to step aside and say, well, this is a dead end. This is not for me. So the issue here is choice and strength of will. The personal expression comes in here. Following one's dream. Yes, always have done. Using personal power to create. This is an important part. And judgment and criticism. This is very important that we drop that. How can I judge somebody because I have not walked in their shoes? Criticism, I cannot actually apply because I haven't got a clue what their soul contract is. So here the lessons related to will and self-expression means you become your own co-creator. So now we come back here. When you lie to your own system, the energy moves in and out through this throat chakra. So if you are not expressing your own creation, your own system, what works for you or not works for you, it will affect all the other auras. Please remember that. I have it in your notes. It is very important that we are staying in our own creation. Remember, you are the director of your movie. If we are in a relationship, they are two directors. So you might be very lucky that you work it nicely out, but there need to be always one director to say, okay, we're doing now stage 1 or stage 2 or whatever. That doesn't mean that it's bossy. This is structure. And so you co-create and express. The other person has the ability to open their expression as well. I don't be in it, or I join, and yes, we make this great movie and we go on with that. And I must say, I can look on 27 years great movies what David and I have been making, It is a really wonderful thing to look back to those years, but it needs to be in harmony and with respect for the other person. And that is the same when you go in co-creation with another person, not sexually involved. So it is always a giving and taking. It is a respect for the other person, but remember, this chakra needs to be exercised, and the exercise is meaning yes, no. And I always have a little joke. I said, I say no. And what part of no don't you understand, the N or the O? Simply like that. You're supposed to laugh now. Chakra 6, are we there?
Yes.
Lovely. Seek only truth. So we have now greatly evolved. We are secure. We are based in the base chakra. We are secure, sacral chakra. We have empowered ourselves, empowered. We are in the heart. We love ourselves. I really rub it in. And then I have actually now said no to something which I don't like, and didn't say yes, and I meant no. Now I come to the third eye. I can be now really calm and have the knowledge really converted into wisdom. Knowledge is never coming into wisdom when you don't apply it. The ability to learn from experience. This is your power in this third eye chakra. The strength is intellectual skills, evaluation of insights, receiving inspiration. Now I have written here inspiration. So the spirit comes through here. Our spirit is so inspirited to give us this ignition, and we get insights when we are calm. We receiving the further advice what we can do, and we generate wisdom from our experience. There is never a bad part in our lives. They are always experience. As long as we are not looking back and attaching ourselves to the past and wailing, oh, I shouldn't have done that, I could have done better. This is all out of the window. No could, no shoulds, out. The shadow side is defining the truth in self-serving ways. So that would be if you're only looking at serving yourself. So when I create, I do my courses, and I create it for humanity to bring more light into some distorted system or whatever. So it is not in my serving way. It's an energy exchange. When we're talking here about money, nobody can live out of air. So it is self-serving is only when you look at your own profit and how to bring more power to yourself. That is meant here. The issues here is self-evaluation, truth. What's your truth? Intellectual intelligence, feeling of adequacy, and the openness to ideas of others. So there's where relationships come in. We are open to ideas of others, but we can discern and we can say, no, this doesn't work for me. If we are tuning into our own higher self. If we say, no, I don't want that, this is our ego, and it would go into our solar plexus. And so there's where we would stifle ourselves. So openness to ideas of others will always bring us great inspiration. And then we can do our own movie again. So the lessons learned here is related to mind, spiritual intuition, insight, and wisdom. And I might want to say here something. We never look left or right to other people. There is no comparison. We don't need to do what other people do. We don't need to feel inferior because other people think that we are nothing. We do our thing, and there comes a faith in what we have seen before, faith with TH. And so we go what our directing quality of the spirit does tell us. Chakra number 7. Are we there?
Yes.
Lovely. Live in the present moment. Now, big underscore here, we need only from now on to live in the present moment. Living in the now is now required from us, because there is nothing working any longer on this planet what has worked maybe even a day ago. That's how fast we are going forward with following the ascension of the planet. And I would like sometimes to go into that in this ascension process, that we actually get how wonderful it is, how we can create. But we need to live in the now, because now through our system we will get inspirations for things which we might not even think about. And this is endless, and there are qualities which have not been there in the 3rd dimension and the 4th dimension, which is only a transfer, as we are going into the higher frequency of the 5th reality. So there are things possible which were never possible in the 3rd dimension. So we want the inner divinity in us. This is now the chakra, the crown chakra, where all the information comes in from above. So there is spirituality in and devotion. We are all spiritual. That has nothing to do with a religious institution. We are all spiritual beings, and the faith in the divine will has to come in here, as well as inner guidance inside our own healing. And there is where the own healing starts. The devotion comes in when I listen to my inner selves and know, well, that was not so crash hot what I did probably a year ago, or I have done the right thing, but I haven't followed it through. Now is the time to actually get going with it. So there is the shadow side would be the need to know why things happened as they do. Why did it happen to me? Well, why not? Because something went pear-shaped, which you did not actually acknowledge at that time in your body or in your intuition or in your gut feeling, what the universe wanted to tell you already years ago. So it causes to live in the past, and therefore living in the now is the most important part. So we have to consider that we only have 100% energy. So if we spend, say, only 30% in the past, or say 33% in the past, and we spend 34% in the future, we have only a limited amount of time in our now, and we cannot create properly. So I want 100% in the now. Then sometimes I look back and I thought, well, the past was that. I don't want that anymore. And I move on. And through the now, only in the now, I put my foot forward, and there is where I can create my future with. Please remember that. As soon as you put your foot forward, now, there's where you create your future. The issue here is the ability to trust life, of course. Values, your values count. Ethic and courage, faith and inspiration. And here comes humanity, I cannot pronounce it. We serve humanity, and selflessness. That doesn't need to be that you are a doormat. You are selfless, serving what comes through. That's your path, what you have chosen in this reincarnation. Otherwise, you would not be here. The lesson related to the spirituality and giving up the need to know. I want to know what's happening. This is my brain telling me, I want to know. And God says, you know, I laugh my head off. I always say, how do you make God laugh? You tell him what your plans are. And he laughs his head off because he has different plans for you. And they might be so good that you would never find them otherwise. So, chakra number 8, which is not in our body. Do we have it?
Yes.
Lovely. So, this is now, we're going a little bit higher out of our body. And I call that sort of, it's like a little keyhole, or say the crown chakra is a keyhole, and the chakra 8 has actually the key. And when it fits in, wow, the whole system lights up. And this chakra, crown chakra, says, yes, we bring it all down into the system and you go places. Can you see that? And so here comes symbolic sight, compassionate awareness, the detachment comes in here. You have no idea where you are going. Staying in the present moment, that's how you get actually the information. Unconditional trust, the ability to recognize illusion. Illusion is what our mind wants to tell us. Oh, life was so good when we had it a year ago. We did this and this, and I just laughed it, and now everything is not right. So illusion. Acceptance of intuitive guidance. We need to get this key in that hole. The shadow side is here, sacred contracts. Cannot go in here in this meeting, in that one. There comes the archetypes in. Each archetype has both a positive and a shadow manifestation, and they are filtered through the lower chakras. So there comes temptations in. And so, well, I cannot really go into that. But this chakra is out of our body, and that helps to integrate the physical and the non-physical, because we are a multi-dimensional being, and we are working on all levels of reality. And there is so much more about what we can do, but this is actually only the Kundalini chakras, which we call the 7 basic chakras, where we have now the discussion about. I see what comes after here. Do we see this one?
Yes.
Lovely. So I come back to this picture, and I think it is on your notes in page. Can you find it in your notes? There is a little picture in your notes.
Page
6.
Thank you, lovely. So this is only a repetition here, This is our pyramid here. And so what I had explained before, the spirit, this is the urge, soul's urge for direction. So the direction only comes from the top, never from the bottom. So this is where we're going into a state of balance, whatever you can achieve or however you can achieve it. This is where your soul gives you direction, and this comes into your mind in an enlightening moment, not in a shopping center, maybe in a shopping center too, but there's too much noise. But in the mind comes in, and you get this creation, this thought of what you would like to create for your next movie, or a part of this movie, what you're doing. But there is also the belief system in. Can you remember I said we need to throw that out, what mom and dad told us, or whatever other people have told us. We are grown up. We can make now our own decisions. And there the mind brings then in a feeling. When I think about that, there is an emotion comes in, which is the result to this thought pattern. And that causes you either here an ease, like that, you look smiley, smiley, or a dis-ease, and you think, no, that was not crash hard. I don't like that. So you have either joy or you have stress. Do we understand that? It's easy like that. We have just a few more to go. Do we have chakras and body centers?
Yes.
Lovely. So I go here from the root and base chakra up, and this is sort of a simulation or an expression. When you are not exercising the root or the base chakra, you could come up with musculoskeletal dysfunctions, because this is our foundation. This is base, it is the bones, our structure. So we come up with really probably illnesses in that area. When you are not exercising the sacral chakra, of course you have reproductive disorders. Really remember where the centers are and what is behind in the physical body. When we go in the solar plexus, we have the gastrointestinal challenges. God, I've got a gut ache today. Well, you listen. When we come the heart, this is the circulatory and immunity dysfunctions. So if your immune system is not good, you look what you're sitting in your chakras, what sits there. Is there unforgiveness? Is there resentment? Is there grief hanging on? This is all clouded energy and blocking. The flow has to flow like a river. It cannot be blocked there. When the throat chakra is blocked, this is a data bank for own truth. If this center is blocked, it will affect all others. That's what we call lying to your system. There's where those dysfunctions come in with growth hormone. Thyroid is growth hormone. The third eye is, of course, all the neurological disturbances. We have many of those, many in the moment. And of course, the crown chakra, chronic mystical exhaustion, depression. Depression is meaning you don't let this light come through. It has to flow through from the divine will from above, right into your being. Well, this has still, let it all come in, flying in. Do we see chakra and endocrine connection?
Yes.
This is still my PowerPoint. It needs to fly in first. Give me time. So it's all there now. I used to have sort of animation in my PowerPoints, and I missed this one to take it out. So we have here, aura is a receiver of unseen vibrations. Can you see the aura receives in and gives out? Can you see that? The chakras assimilate all this energy which comes in, assimilates it, and then transmit this energy into the nervous system here. And the nervous system receives the vibration as a frequency, and it activates through the endocrine system certain excretion in the body, excretion of hormones, which can be then transported through the blood as a fluid medium, and this blood provides direct chemical exchanges and transports these messages to the organs. This one affects every cell either to ease or dis-ease. Now that was a mouthful, and I go into that quick. This is when we have a thought here, chakra system, we got all the information through the chakras, we got a thought form, and then I received something which was really great, and my system says, cannot do. This thought will change the hormonal excretion in your endocrine system and brings this change energy into this blood, which is either then acid or alkaline. A thought which is negative is acid. A thought which brings you joy is alkaline. So we have it in our mind to bring into our system ease or dis-ease with one single thought. Think about that. It's amazing, isn't it? Do we have belief creates or controls biology?
Yes.
Lovely. So we have, so this is from Bruce Lipton, the leader in epigenetics. Fantastic new revelations which will change science. We have a belief which says, oh, my mom had cancer with so and so years of age. I probably have it in my genes. This is absolute rubbish, and I want you to throw that out. And you need to research those things more to your own benefits. So I go here in this little creation I have done here. You have a thought. This brings on an action. This action brings on an experience. So when this experience is not crash hot, you will react on it, or you have the opportunity to have a new thought. Well, the old thought was not crash hot. It brought on an action which was just lousy, and the experience was even more detrimental. If I would react on that, I would be a victim. So I have a new thought, and I say, wow, now I know my movie would have done a wrong turn. I go into a totally different direction. So when I see here the love vibration is a positive energy, and that creates personal power. Fear vibration is a negative outcome, and that creates an emotional change, which is totally undesirable. The memory of all this stuff, what has happened here in this triangle here, becomes encoded within the aura and cells and interfere with the flow of life. The flow of life needs to flow like a river. And we are no victims. There is no force out there. We are alone governing our lives. So with finishing it off here, being free of limiting belief systems will change our world with a magic wand. And remember, when you are miserable, you will attract more miserable situations, which will make you more miserable. So if you bring yourself in a higher vibration through a new thought, and you have a brilliant action, then a new experience, you will attract totally different experience to yourself. And with such, I would like to finish this PowerPoint off. Stop share. Are we still all here? All here? Open up your microphone.
Yes, yep, we're all here.
Goody, goody, goody.
All here.
You see the beds where you sleep in?
Yeah.
Wonderful. Carol is here too. Wonderful. So I give you also a handout in page 9 and 10 about cleaning aura maintenance. Now, aura maintenance is essential. And I always say, if you are in the morning waking up and you are in a hurry, you will never leave the house without brushing your teeth. Can I have a yes? So we never ever go out with doing our aura before we leave the house. Good one. Well, it's beneficial. And you know now what is at stake when we are not maintaining our energy field. We need to own our energy field. Nobody has the right to attach, to access, or even get involved in it. And I don't want to involve fear here. Never bring fear into your system, never ever. Because if you bring fear in, you open up your energy field and you will get attachments which are very undesirable. And we don't want that. This is an absolute no-no. And when you are working like I do for years now in this field, you're taking that very serious. I'm not paranoid because I do it. I take it serious. We have wonderful things in Tesla's technology, which is called the chakra balancer. It can make you so lazy and you do it. Isn't it good? We have the spirit plate and I lay on it and it's wonderful. So it does it. So we are wonderful. We have the carry-on plate, which we are knowing that it gives us great benefits. We have so wonderful technologies, and I just want to rub it in. I rave on that. It's wonderful. So please read that through. I don't need to read it all. I would like that we stay in contact. If you have questions, Tesla will see next Wednesday. But we can now do answers, questions and answers. But if you feel, wow, that was quite something, please, you have my email number. And I want you to get in contact with me or text me. I will call you. I am very much devoted to follow up as well. When you have read the notes, I would encourage you also to have the book. signs of life, which I have written out of sheer desperation because people didn't have the money and say, I don't know how to do this. So I said, please order the book. And I can take your text or your order or whatever. And there is 108 pages full with explanations, knowledge, but in a very simple to read way. And it is just simply, it needs your time and initiation to do it. So I open up now the whole lot, and please speak with me.